So I'd been on a Fallout New Vegas kick, and I got to thinking, hey, if I lived in the Mojave wasteland, what handgun and what rifle would I want to survive the dangers that are all around? So my firearm selection would have to be able to deal with a wide variety of threats. Obviously, you have human threats out there in the Mojave, and you also would have to deal with scorpions, mantis, blowflies, those little gecko thingies that are in Good Springs at the start of the game, right? You have a variety of things you have to deal with. All right, so we're gonna have two different classes of people to choose from, and that's gonna kind of limit what firearms we can have. Okay, so the first group that we're gonna be talking about is gonna be a farmer at Good Springs, okay? Don't have a lot of money, you can still probably buy some sort of rifle. It would have to make sense for the kind of the problems you face with the powder gangers and other kind of lower level creatures that you have to fight. The second would be a trader or some sort of Brahmin merchant, right? You're patrolling the Mojave, right? You have all these different types of threats you could encounter. What would be a rifle and handgun setup that would be conducive for the threats you may face? All right, so I had fun with this. I know I'm not the biggest Fallout lore expert. I've just played the game, and I've watched a lot of Oxhorn videos. But I thought I could maybe use my real world understanding of firearms and maybe have a little fun with this video. And if you like what you see here, drop a like, drop a sub. Now, first up, we have your average farmer in Good Springs. Now, I think your actual starting rifle for this would be a very good choice. And I'm gonna have to go with a varmint rifle. Now, I know it says varmint rifle, but I think getting a gun chambered in 5.56 would actually be pretty awesome for the threats you would face near Good Springs, right? You can take out some geckos, certainly take out any human threats, right? You have a variety of cartridges that goes along with it. And what I like about this is you can get a decent fire rate with a 5.56 gun, but it also has a good amount of capability. Now, if you look at the terrain in Good Springs, it's pretty wide open once you get past like the little city. You have some long sight lines. Now, I have shot only with magnified optics at to like 500 yards, inconsistently 400 yards. Okay, so I would feel comfortable with irons. I would say getting a shot, proned out 200 yards, I think could be easily done, and maybe a torso-sized target at 300, maybe not a first round impact, but I think you get the point. It is a more than capable cartridge if you have a decent barrel, and quality ammo. Now, with the varmint rifle, if at all possible, it would be pretty awesome if you could get some sort of magnified optic. I know near Nipton there is the Rat Slayer unique weapon, which is pretty rad. If you could get an optic similar to that and get your gun set up that way, that would be pretty great. However, I know that would increase the cost for a poor farmer in Good Springs, but it would make a weapon that much more deadly and kind of extend its capability. Now, when it comes to the sidearm for an average farmer in Good Springs, I would go definitely with the 9mm pistol. Get you a Browning high power, that would be pretty great. Again, 9mm would be great for any threat that you face that's not going to be a super big monster. And you'd have a lot of ammunition. You can carry a lot of it. It's pretty cheap, right? And the pistols are very common. So that would be great. All right, next up we have somebody that would be escorting a caravan or some sort of Brahmin merchant. So because you're escorting these, you're going to have a lot more threats, both from people and potentially from monsters and critters out there that may want to eat you for a tasty snack. So my first choice, I would have to go with the marksman carbine. And I think it's pretty obvious this would be an awesome choice to have in the wide open areas of the Mojave, right? You have a magnified optic, you have a detachable box magazine, right? 5.56 is a great cartridge. Okay, I would definitely go with this one. And if I couldn't get my hands on a marksman carbine, I think I would go with the brush gun. Now, this is chambered in the big boy cartridge 4570. Maybe a little heavy hitting for taking down some Legionnaire threats in real life, right? But I definitely would not feel I wouldn't feel the slightest bit underpowered if I had a 4570 lever action. Maybe a little bit overkill, but you got to think if you're taking down some sort of radioactive monster like the Rad Scorpion, right? I think you would want a heavier hitting gun if you could get one.